Just pulling in here to the winter pasture, and I'm looking for cow number 32. Last night when I was out here checking cows, she was starting to go into labor, and I'm sure she's got a calf with her by now. There are many different philosophies when it comes to how closely you watch your cows while they're calving. I know some people will come out and check them throughout the night. I've never really felt a need to do that, but what I do feel a need to do is when I know that a cow is going into labor the night before, I just like to make sure that everything happened and is done, because a couple of times it hasn't, and that's when you got to intervene. Well, it looks like the main herd is sitting right here. I don't know if she's going to be with them or not. Well, I just drove through and they are all here. I'm not sure which one she is, but let's get a tag ready and see if we can get this done. I think that's her standing looking at me over there. Oh my goodness. I'm happy about that. Man, that was the battle cry there. Oh my goodness. This little calf nursing right here is the one that, if you may have saw, I posted a short of the cow delivering it, and she actually delivered it standing up, and you know, it came crashing, tumbling out of her. A lot of people were worried about the calf because that's kind of a harsh way to enter the world, you could say. You can see the calf is doing fine. It's not uncommon for cattle to deliver that way. They'll lay down and push, and you know, they get the calf about halfway out and they'll stand up, and that's what you saw in that short. Some people say it helps them take that first breath. I don't know. I mean, they don't all do it that way, but it's pretty normal. Look at that, it's wet right there on my windowsill. You know, every time I walk away from this truck and I come back, it's always wet right here on the windowsill, and I don't know, I don't have any idea how that might be happening. Today I've got some tractor work in store, so we're gonna run back home and get the LS and try to get this done. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. Well, I got the bale unroller out today, as you can see, and this is the first bale that I've unrolled backwards, which makes it go a lot further. I think I actually like that better. And while I'm out here with the LS, I want to try to cut a road through this corral. It's really rough driving through here. It's a little bit too wet to get out here with the box scraper and scrape it out like I do every year, but it is dry enough where we came in to cut a road. Well, that's going to make driving through here a lot nicer, and honestly I'm sure the cows are going to appreciate this as well, because I mean, what would you rather walk on, right? Some nice graded dirt or this, you know, bunch of potholes they got going. So part of the reason that I wanted to do this today was just for the convenience of it, but the other reason is because of the next job that I want to try to get done, and that is a little bit of pasture aeration. That aerator is so heavy that I just didn't want to try to drive through here and have that thing shifting side to side. It just, I don't know, it just does not feel good when it starts doing that. So now we'll have a nice smooth road and easy access. But before we get started with that, I think it is time to turn this cow and calf out with the others. The calf is doing good, and I think it's going to be all right out there. In fact, I think it'll do it some good to have the other calves to kind of encourage it to like run around and play a little bit. And also it's a good time to do it now because the cows are all occupied eating hay. Because we're reintroducing a cow that hasn't been here for a while, there's going to be some pecking order discussions, but I think those will be to a minimum because everybody's preoccupied doing something else. It's time. That's what I like to see. See, the way the calf just jumped up, that is like a much more normal reaction for a calf to have towards me at this age. But I did want to make sure that it was up so that mother doesn't just walk out there and leave it. Hopefully they walk out together like they should. Going up. Okay, you guys good? Normally I wouldn't force the calf out like that, but the reason that I did is because I need to close this gate and I want to bring Littles through the big corral here and put him back with the other yearlings. You look around, there's still a lot of grass around here for him to eat, but what the problem has become is that when I have this pen out there freestanding, he's just figured out that he can stick his head through the panels and kind of push it and drag it wherever he wants. And at first I didn't think that was really a big deal. He just kind of moved himself. It was almost a good thing. But what was happening is he kept getting the pen sort of in a diamond shape, and it would get really small. It kind of seems silly to keep him in here and just toss him a little bit of hay every day. He may as well be back with the other yearlings and eating hay out of their feeder. Well, he seems pretty content to clean up this little patch here, so I guess we'll let him. What I'll do is get the bale unroller unhooked, get the aerator on the tractor, and hopefully by then he'll be done with this. Well, that squatted the tires a little bit, although not as much as I was thinking that it might. But like I said before, this aerator is really heavy. It kind of has to be in order for it to work. I'm not really sure what it weighs by itself, but I've got, what is it, 1,300 pounds of weight on it. This whole thing hadn't been running a while, so I'd imagine it needs some grease. Oops. Oh, I'm gonna miss my good grease gun. Boy, I'm really getting spoiled with that electric grease gun. When you actually have to go back and use a normal one, it's like you can't hardly do it. Should be all greased up and ready to go here. The bearings aren't making any sort of weird sounds, so hopefully this is a trouble-free day. But we will find out soon enough. Well, he didn't get too far, but he is in there, so we'll go ahead and close this gate. I'll get him in with the others, and then I can open up everything and drive through. I would say there's a really good chance that all those yearlings end up in here before he goes out there, but you know, that's just what's gonna happen. There you go, you guys be nice to him. Well, there he goes. They're all pretty much ignoring him, so I guess that's good. Well, I'm going down the last pass now, and this field took about, according to the hour meter on the tractor, 2.5 hours, but figured, you know, that's a lot of moving cameras around and stuff. So I think If I wasn't filming it, I could have done this in 2 hours, which means I was covering 8 acres per hour with an aerator that's only 8 feet wide. To me, that seems pretty good. If you've never seen a field aerator like this, it's like a bunch of knives that are just stabbing the ground millions of times. This is an implement you would not want to get run over with. These knives actually have a little bit of a twist in them, and you can angle the gang however much you want to do it. I'm doing a minimum angle now because I don't want to disturb the ground a lot, because I will be coming back to graze this before too long. But you can angle that gang so much that it almost looks like you were disking out here. And because those knives have that little twist in them, that's what pulls these little plugs up here and makes the hole in the ground. And if you're wondering, why would you want million, maybe billions of holes in the ground out here? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The big one for me, the reason that I do it, is because it helps with water retention. This is something that I've actually seen happen. Spots in the field that would start turning brown before I would get back on it with the irrigation water. After I aerated those spots, they would stay green the entire time. But the aerator also creates passages for air to get down into the soil, and that's part of the reason why you want to do this when the ground is more on the dry side than the wet side, because as those tines are sticking into the ground, they're actually fracturing the soil as opposed to just sticking in and coming right back out, which is what they would do if the ground was wet and soft. I did want to get this field done today because I'll probably start the water out here in the next couple of days. And then when I get the cattle moved off of this front pasture down to the back pasture, my plan is to aerate this as well. And then I've got so much feed stocked up in the back field that I'm hoping by the time they make their way back up to these pastures that they will have a ton of feed stocked up as well. It sounds like a good plan. We'll see. Oh boy. Sound like a good plan? Looks like 58 had a calf this afternoon, and guess who forgot to bring tagging stuff? Hopefully I'll be able to get it in the morning. Well, I guess let's go to the ranch and check on those cows. Well, we're back home now. Let's see if we can find our little charity case calf. Looks like she's up here trying to rob a meal off of this cow. That's not your mama, girl. Mother's on her way up, but yeah, this calf doesn't seem to understand. She's only allowed to nurse off of one cow. She keeps trying to nurse off of this cow here. What's up? You just want to nurse everybody, huh? Well, she does eventually find mom, but it takes her a little bit of looking around. So we're definitely gonna have to keep an eye on this calf and make sure that things are going well, because I don't get the feeling that it's like 100% smooth sailing from here on out. But I do have hope. I'm optimistic that the calf will figure it out and it should be all right. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.